Texas flood live updates. Death toll rises to 109, 161 missing in devastation. Now, again, just like the floods that we saw in North Carolina, these numbers are probably only the numbers that they have for people who are accounted for. That is to say, on the rosters at the camp. God bless all those little girls. I hope they find at least some of them.
Yeah.
Rosters at schools or employment rosters, what have you. This does not account for Joe Smith hiking with a six-pack in his backpack that day down by the river, or Bobby and Susie going to neck under the tree by the riverbank, or
old
whatever.
guy fishing.
Or old guy fishing. Yeah, exactly. So these are the official numbers. You always have to remember this in floods. It's ugly, man. More than 100 people are confirmed dead and at least 160 missing as search and rescue operations in central Texas entered a fifth day Tuesday after heavy rainfall overwhelmed the Guadalupe River. Now, I looked this up. These rivers, they have a history of flash floods. There's a couple of Western movies that act from like the 60s. Remember all the Western movies in the 60s?
Yeah.
There's a couple of movies there. I recall them as a kid where pivotal scenes revolved around flash floods. I have to track those movies down. There's a fun task for you guys out in the audience. Track down the Westerns with the flash flood scenes. These are not new. The problem with this one is it came out of nowhere. And there is considerable evidence that it wasn't quite as natural as it should have been. So the death roll rose to 109, including at least 27 children and counselors from Camp Mystic, a storied Christian children girls camp in Kerr County, where flooding hit the hardest beginning July 4th. At least 30 children were among those killed in the county. That's terrifying for those families. That is heartbreaking, and my heart goes out to all of those families genuinely.
God damn, that's just vicious.
My little girl, who just moved to the other side of the Rocky Mountains today, she went to summer camp for 5 years when she was little. And if something like this happened there, I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would have done. The last live rescue was made on Friday, said Jonathan Lamb with Kerrville Police Department. The chances of finding survivors dwindle as time passes. It's always a terrifying. If you've ever been in an event like this, I have, and I actually found some footage from the one that I was in. I'm going to show that in a second. It's terrifying. It's absolutely terrifying. The one in Korea, I'm actually going to
stand by. I watched some of the videos, and when they say it was a flash flood, they are not joking.
I have the time-lapse one. I'm going to show you what I went through. I was standing in this spot during these events. Let me show you this one here. We'll go boop and say pop. This is Camp Casey in Korea. This is right on the DMZ.
And you can see all the old video cameras.
Yeah, this is 1998. This was an organized, that's 5.5 artillery, Divardi. Look at the Quonset huts just crushed.
Yeah.
This was an army camp. It was clean and organized.
Not anymore.
Yeah, that's the devastation in the army camp. Let's see if I can find some. You can see the devastation in the camp there, and then an officer's briefing. I'm going to stop that one. I've got one more from the Korean perspective. This is from AP News at that time.
Rainfall has fallen over the weekend. Hardest hit were towns north of Seoul. The deadly torrential rains have claimed the lives of 10 people.
That's some of the towns in the upland.
Rescue workers in
I watched rivers rise 100 feet, and I saw a village erased in front of me.
American troops stationed in South Korea have also
Holy shit.
in the flood-stricken area to wait for help on top of their
Oh, look, a Humvee stuck in the road.
Yep.
Officials and locals are worried
Been there, done that.
and property damage could rise. Weathermen have forecast more rain in the area.
So that, what you're looking at, is after the rains. That is after. It rained sideways for 5 days, and I saw a refrigerator thrown through 3 walls by the force of the floods, and a whole bunch of other stuff. I saw a village erased from the side of a mountain in front of us. We were going to the village to evacuate them, and the side of the mountain, all the mountains in Korea are fault block granite. It just erased the village right in front of us. We're like,
Wow.
oh my God. So this is the Texas flash flood now in stop motion, or in basically fast forward. What do you call that?
All right. Yeah.
Time lapse. Time lapse. Watch this. This is how fast this happens.
Oh shit. Yep. I'm going to be honest. If they have less than 300 people dead, I'll be surprised.
Yeah. Now, that is the level of destruction that I saw in Korea. I was standing there. Point being, I can tell you firsthand that what's going on there is absolutely fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
It is nerve-wracking. You don't know if the side of the mountain's going to come off and wash you away. You don't know if the riverbank is going to give under your feet. I'm standing in the first video I showed you of the 2nd Infantry area of operations.
Uh-huh.
We're standing at Camp Red Cloud. I'm standing there with the command sergeant major. I was General Denny Klein's eyes and ears for civil affairs at the time, and they sent me up into the area because I was from there to begin with. And I'm standing with the command sergeant major of 2nd Infantry Division. We're watching the river just go washing by. We're standing there with cups of coffee because we don't know what to do because of the devastation. And this cow floats by and goes, moo. And we looked at the cow, and the sergeant major and I looked at each other, looked at the cow, looked back at each other. Okay, we need to go get more coffee. This is going to be a long fucking day.
Yep.
Let's come over here.
But the thing is,
go ahead.
You know, I looked at some of the weather reports. There was supposed to be rain, but not flash flood rain. Exactly.
It was the intensity of this storm that got people asking questions.
Yeah.
It was absolutely the intensity of the storm that got people asking questions. And I mean, I'm just going to keep repeating as we're going along here, having been through something like this, dude. When you see it, you can't believe what you're seeing.
Getting bigger, and it was going up to, we had bunk beds in our cabins, and it was going up to the top bunk, and we had one choice, and we had to swim out of our cabins.
Brave little fuckers.
Campers from Camp La Junta lucky to be alive this morning after they say they had to swim out of their cabins during flash floods in Kerr County. That camp just a few miles up the Guadalupe River from Camp Mystic. That's where more than 20 campers are still missing this morning. Thanks for waking up with us on this Saturday, July 5th.
You are unnecessary. And yeah, you saw the levels in that video. That's the same kind of thing that I experienced. Those little guys are brave as fuck. They're clearly good swimmers.
Well, you don't have any choice.
Like, no, I don't. I understand. I understand that you don't have any choice.
Yeah.
But they're still brave as hell. They chose to swim and try instead of try to hang on to something, which is most people's reaction. Most people try to hang on to something, and then that gets washed away, and they get crushed between that thing and whatever else that the water slams them against. Yeah. The water goes up so fast. It doesn't look real because you're standing on what's a road, and the next thing you know, you've got to find high ground, and I mean 30, 40 feet up. Because a couple minutes, and it's all the way up on top of you.
Yeah,
let's see. I'm going to scroll past the little reporter there. Nobody needs that. And we're going to go back to this video and watch some of what's going on. Night operations in a flood like this. Fuck that noise.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
because you can't see objects coming at you in moving water.
I got
you. By the time you see it, it's way too late.
Kerr County, but other counties near the San Antonio area. This is new
See you there.
video here you're looking at out of
Just
Spring
like that.
Branch, Texas. That's in Comal County. Storms rolled through those areas again around 2 this morning, with more rain expected later today. At last check, more than 230 people in Kerr County have been rescued and evacuated. The death toll is now up to
That'll
24.
totally kill you.
Efforts continued throughout the night to find more than 20 missing girls from Camp Mystic.
Now, here's the thing. See all that debris?
Uh-huh.
When you've got a body of water of that size, as the debris piles along the edge, and the water will push it aside, it'll pile up. And what it does is create a funnel. And that funnel creates a rapids. Now that water, the force of it is exponential. It goes up 2 times, 4 times, 8 times.
Yeah.
So the more debris piles up, the stronger that funnel becomes, the more damage it does downstream. And water doesn't care what you think.
Along the Guadalupe River, those floodwaters rose more than 20 feet in the span of 2 hours.
Yep.
And just before we came on the air, we learned a director for a different camp near the Guadalupe River died in those floods. Heart of the Hills is a girls' camp in Hunt, Texas.
Okay, that's our heart goes out to everybody who died in this, but we're not here to cover every individual death at the time. I get it. We want to focus more on the storm, but let's see where we are here. They want to find every missing person no matter what, and I get that, but you're not going to. You're not going to. But here's some of the rescue operations that are going. Watch
One North
this.
Texas family says they are lucky to know their child is alive. Our Teresa Woodward
Right
spoke
there.
to them.
We did a
moments before
lot
they
of that
left to
during the
reunite
Korea
with her.
operation.
Yeah.
And she wasn't even supposed to be at this session.
I spoke.
Thank God she was saved. You know.
Yeah, I don't want to hear any. I don't see anybody crying and shit.
Yeah, that's not what we're here for tonight. Like we said, our heart goes out to these families genuinely. But the helicopter operations like that, we did a ton of that during the following 2 weeks. There were people trapped on mountains. There were people trapped in Korea has a lot of tunnels. Some guy managed to make it to a ventilation shaft in one of the larger mountain freeway tunnel underpasses.
Really?
And the guys from 17th Aviation hovered a Chinook over the shaft, pulled the shaft 2 guys down, sent rescue swimmers down, pulled the lid off of the shaft, and got a line down to the guy, and he managed to tie himself off. And they pulled him out of the mountain shaft, and it looked like somebody was pulling earwax out of the world's biggest ear when they pulled the guy out. But that dude was lucky as hell.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the meat caser box.